good, Sheltron here, the most woke, no joking. I'm back at it again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. A lot of Panthers fans and a lot of y'all in the comments have a very misguided opinion on what we should be doing with our first round pick, specifically when it comes to one particular position, and that's wide receiver. First of all, a lot of people are thinking that we're okay with the idea of us trading up, getting rid of our first and our third round pick to move up 6 spots to pick up a wide receiver. And I had someone telling me about, someone had a comment about the reason why we lost to the Saints 3 times was because of our wide receiver game, and I'll do a complete video on that. I usually don't try to respond to comments too often in too much depth, but that was something that I think a lot of Panthers fans, after reading some of my comments, have in common. They think that wide receiver was our problem last year, when it was really our secondary. It was definitely our secondary. But another reason why we shouldn't use our first round pick on our wide receiver is because we're in a division, and I say this all the time. Go back to my videos where I talk about a DB or wide receiver. I always talk about how the NFC South is the strongest division in quarterback and wide receiver duos. Look at the teams. Even the Bucks, who are terrible, have a really good quarterback wide receiver duo. Think what you want to about Jameis Winston, but this man can throw the ball to Mike. Anyone can throw the ball to Mike Evans. You can throw the ball to Mike Evans and have decent production. So I don't think it's, and a lot of people are thinking about going after some receivers who are more slot guys. And someone even asked me in my comments, why do you say we need a number 1 wide receiver? We already have Devin Funchess. He's a number 1 wide receiver. He's a big guy. We don't need a number 1 guy. Okay, that'd be a good point if he wasn't our only big wide receiver. But there's no point in going after a slot or number 2 receiver. Our whole team is 5'11" to 6 foot, 5'10" to 6'1" and then we have Funchess. So if Funchess goes, and we have a pretty good pension of receivers getting injured. So if Funchess goes down in the middle of the season, who's our number 1 receiver? Who's our big guy out there? Who stretches who makes the corners and safeties play off and actually play honest and not stack the box? Who's our big red zone threat not named Greg Olsen if Funchess can't produce for us? And every position has to have a backup. So it just makes no sense to say we have one guy, we have one big guy, so we're straight on that. Let's go after a 5'11" receiver. Let's go after a 6 foot receiver who's another speed guy. Or another possession receiver. So I'll get into that in this video, in the next couple videos actually. But for this video, I want to talk about a guy who isn't a first round pick, a wide receiver not a first round pick, but he's a big guy, someone I think who could actually help us out a lot. Let's go straight out of PIP. Deon Cain from Clemson. A lot of you guys know this name. There's a lot of Clemson fans who watch the channel. Let's look at this guy's measurements real quick, his measurables. First off, he's 6'2", 202. That's not a bad body size. He's a winner. This guy's a winner. Deon Cain, if you know anything about Clemson, this man's a winner. He ran a 4.4 340, 11 on the bench. That's not bad. A 33.5 vert. That's not bad either. I've seen better on the broad. I've seen a lot better on the 20-yard shuttle. But let's go down to his bio. Basically, all this is talking about is this man can ball. He missed some games because of a drug suspension, or he failed drug tests and got suspended by the team. That's no good. But let's go down to what his combine notes were. His comparison in the NFL was Roddy White, and projected to go in the second or third round. If we can get a DB in the first, I have no problem going after a receiver in the second or even the third. The second is even, that's not bad for me. But basically what his strengths are: he's big, he's fast, run after the catch is amazing. What he can do, his looseness after the catch will actually scare you. He's pretty physical, and he's not scared to use his hands to get off press coverage. Those big corners, those corners who want to push you and get you off your break and want to get your timing off between you and the quarterback on your routes, they're going to have a hard time covering Deon Cain. He's, like I say, he's big, he's physical when the ball's in the air, he can track the ball, and he's, like I said, he can really get you out of your rhythm as a DB with shaking you off, and he's also a pretty good blocker. So when we have Cam, looking going off the outside, or McCaffrey coming off the edge and on a stretch play, run those stretch plays. Having a receiver who can actually block out there is so important for those outside bounces. But his weaknesses, they're mainly on focus. Mainly everything here is about focus. You see down here, the last thing is penalized 10 times over 3 years, with the majority being false starts. Failed to post. That's not even that big of a deal, honestly. The first one. Needs to expand his route tree a little bit. Doesn't separate as much underneath. That's okay to me. For me, I feel like he'll be a downfield threat. It'd be cool if he could have a better route tree with better cuts to the inside, in breaking cuts to keep the defense honest. Double moves like going up, shaking out, and then coming back in. That'd be a good route for him to make sure that defenses look for the fade, but then have to stay honest and stay square on their hips to defend an in-breaking route. And a lot of this is some drop rate, some drops, but they said it's more to do about focus than about ability. He just loses focus sometimes, and that's 100% coachable. You can coach that out of somebody. And basically it's a lot of it is he gets flustered by length and size across from him. But like I said, that's all mental things in his head that you can definitely work with the receiver coach or the staffing for the receiver core and definitely get that out of his head. Let's look at his stats though while he was at Clemson. His freshman year, he had 34 receptions for 582, basically 600 yards. He had 5 touchdowns. That's not bad. His sophomore year though, he had 38 receptions for 724 yards and 9 touchdowns. So only 4 more receptions with a lot more productivity coming out of him. And his junior year, he had 58 receptions, so his number got called a lot more, but he only had 10 more yards from his sophomore year and only had 6 touchdowns. That's not bad either. Those are pretty decent numbers. He was always near the top of the ACC. Not too hard to do, honestly. But I just think Deon Cain at 6'1", 210 is probably a much better option for us than Calvin Ridley or DJ Moore. Not in skill. Let's not get it twisted. And I don't want to see in the comments, bro, but DJ Moore is better. Bro, Calvin Ridley. I understand. But it's all about drafting for what you need. And honestly, our first round draft need is a defensive back. I think it's best player available at corner or safety for us in the first round because that's what we need. We need to be able to defend the big arms of the NFC South. And I think Deon Cain is a big target that we can actually use well enough that it won't be a significant drop-off in what we see in our scheme than if we got one of those other 2 receivers. And we don't have to sacrifice not getting a big name DB as well. So we get good production out of a big receiver who can probably play the X or even just play the 2. It doesn't play the Y. It doesn't matter. He can play the 2 receiver, and he'll still be good enough for our scheme. And I think Deon Cain will be a good addition for us. But what do y'all guys think about Deon Cain? Let me know in the comments below, man. You already know to do that like button. I got a button right here to subscribe, a button right here for you to watch more videos. Namaste. That's sooner than you think.